we're going to be talking about what are the main differences between the paper SAT and the new digital SAT. So to start off, let's just look at what the paper SAT currently looks like. Currently, the SAT, at least in the United States, the new digital one will be starting in 2024 with the March SAT being the first test. So right now, the paper SAT is 3 hours and around 15 minutes long. For the reading section, there's about 5 passages and 52 questions. And in the writing section, there's 4 passages and about 44 questions. Now, the main changes to the digital SAT is that it's shorter and the sections are a little bit different, and the score release is also much quicker for the digital version. So if we start with the test length, the paper SAT, like I said, was 3 hours and 15 minutes, while the new digital SAT is going to be only 2 hours and 14 minutes. All right. Now, for the reading and writing section, the new digital SAT has actually combined both the reading and writing section into one section. So there's going to be 54 multiple choice questions, and they're all going to be very short passages. And they will also include informational graphics, as well as the whole test is going to be more vocab focused than it was in the past, right? So many years ago, there was a vocab section basically on the SAT. They've kind of started bringing that back. But like I said, the new digital SAT is one section, and they've combined the reading and writing in that one section. Okay, now for the paper SAT math section, there used to be basically a no calculator section and a calculator section. The no calculator section would have 15 multiple choice questions with 5 student response, like open-ended type of questions. And then they also had a calculator section, which had 30 multiple choice and 8 open-ended or student response questions, as they like to call it. Now, with the new digital SAT, the math section is only 70 minutes long, and you can use the calculator for the entire section. All right. Now, there's 33 multiple choice questions and 11 student responses. And one of the most exciting things about this test for the math section, for at least a few students who did not like imaginary number questions, is that there will be no imaginary number questions on this new exam. Again, the new exam does release in the United States starting 2024, and the first SAT is in March. So if you're taking the March SAT, make sure you understand that you can use your calculator on the entire math section. And the test format is pretty different. So you should still use paper resources to study for the digital SAT right now, because there's not that many resources out there. But I do highly recommend still, especially for the reading and writing section, finding practice questions specific to the new digital SAT. Now, for score release, on the paper exam, currently it takes about 2 weeks for the College Board to basically announce your score on their website. With the new digital SAT, since it's on the computer, it's basically going to be automatically calculated. So the score release will probably be in 2 to 3 days, and I wouldn't even be surprised if in the future they just release the score as soon as you are done with the test. So the biggest difference between the paper and the new digital SAT is this concept of adaptive testing. So, like I said, they merged the reading and writing section basically into one section, and the math also into one section, right? So you have your reading and writing and you have your math. Now, they split it up into basically 2 modules. So this is what it would look like for you on test day. Basically, you go in, you take the test. The first module is going to be about reading and writing. When you're taking the reading and writing, this is module 1. This is like the first section, mini section in the reading and writing section, right? When you take this module, your score, so how you perform basically, if you do really well on it, you're going to get a harder module 2. If you do really bad on the first module, you will get an easier module 2. So this can kind of be depicted by this here, right? So depending on how you do on the first module, that is going to be a pretty good, predictive indicator that the next section is rather going to be harder or easier. Now, just because, don't try to bomb the first section just so that you can get an easier module 2. We've actually done a pretty good amount of, tests using the Blue Book app, and we got 10 questions wrong on module 1, and it gave us the easier section, So we were able to get all the questions right on the second module. However, we ran about 3 tests and we weren't not able to score above a 600 on that, section basically. So if you're looking to score basically over 600 on the reading and writing, my biggest advice is just do really well on module 1. Yes, you might get a harder module 2, but I wouldn't try to game the system or game the algorithm by getting a few questions wrong. All right, so what's staying the same? A lot has changed. Well, the same 1600 point scale, that's not changing. Your score is still out of 1600, and you will still have to go to a test center to take the exam, right? So it's still in person, and you still have a test proctor with you. So just because it's digital, it's not like AP tests where you could go take it at home. Unfortunately, you still have to show up to the test center. You can rather bring your own laptop or use the ones that they have at the test center. Now, the skills measured are also essentially the same. There's only a few tweaks. Like I said, the math section does not have imaginary numbers anymore, and the reading and writing section also is a little bit different because it focuses more on vocab, and the passages for the reading and writing section are much, much shorter, right? So I'll show you what that actually looks like in a few minutes. And I also suggest that you bring your own calculator, even though that they do give you the digital calculator on the screen with Desmos, which is like a software application they have. But I do suggest that if you know how to use a TI-84 and it's your own calculator, having it in front of you is a lot easier and will allow you to move much quicker throughout the test. So what resources can you use to study for the SAT? Well, if you're looking for a free SAT math course, just go to futureadmit.com/free and you will find your free SAT math course and materials there. I also highly suggest that you use the official SAT practice tests from the College Board, even the paper ones. They are still really good practice, especially for the math section. I don't see the math section changing too much because the concepts are the same. The only really, really big difference is reading and writing, and the more practice you get, the better. Now, you can also use the Blue Book app, which is what College Board provides on their website, which I've linked right there. Basically, this Blue Book app, you can download it onto your computer, and it will, show you how the adaptive testing kind of works. So now let's look at what an actual digital SAT test looks like. All right, so if you go onto College Board's website, you can actually find the digital SAT practice sets here. Now, if you want to do it in Blue Book, which I do suggest if you are practicing, then you can download the Blue Book app. But for time's sake, what we're going to do is just look at basically the practice tests that they have. They put it in a PDF format. So there's 4 official tests out right now and resources for the digital SAT. Now, if we look at the test, so this is practice test 4. I'm not going to do any of the questions, but I just want you to see what the reading and writing section really looks like, because that is the biggest, difference, really, in my opinion. So see how the new digital SAT, it's basically just like one paragraph per question. So it's really short. They used to be like this whole page would be covered with words basically, and you would have 5 stories and a bunch of questions. Now it's just like one paragraph and you have, one question, and it's only, it's much shorter. So, and they have also combined, reading and writing together. So reading and grammar together in one section, essentially. So you have, grammar questions, you have reading questions. So that's honestly the main difference about the digital SAT and the paper SAT. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Again, if you guys are looking for a free SAT math course, make sure you go down in the description. I've linked all the resources you need as well as the free course down below. All right, guys, see you guys in the next video.